The world here was not like yours. No blue skies, no green grass, no warm sun. Everything was painted in only two colors, ash gray and bone white. The hills were gray dust, the trees were twisted gray skeletons, and even the wind sounded gray, hollow, quiet, and dead. People called this place the land of forgotten light. They said color was a myth, a story old people told to make children sleep. They said life ended long ago and nothing could ever bring it back. But every night, when the full moon climbed high and round in the pale sky, one figure walked out from the mists. He was a skeleton, clean white bones wrapped in a tattered, dark hooded robe. No skin, no eyes, no heart beating in his chest. In his hand, he held only one thing, a paintbrush, and slung over his shoulder, a wooden box no one had ever seen inside. The villagers watched from their windows, whispering, "That is the painter of ash," they said. "He has been here forever. He paints things that do not exist. He is mad or cursed." No one dared go near him. No one dared ask why he stood every night before an easel, working slowly, carefully, while the gray world slept. Tonight, I will tell you his story. And what you will discover will change everything you believe about life, death, and what it means to be real. He set up his easel exactly where the gnarled dead tree stood, its branches like broken fingers reaching into the empty air. He opened his wooden box, and if anyone had looked close, they would have gasped. Inside were paints, not gray, not white, but colors so bright they seemed to glow even in the dark. Deep blue, fresh green, golden yellow, soft red, colors the people here had forgotten how to name. He dipped his brush and he began. First, a wide sweep across the top of the canvas. A sky so blue it looked endless, with fluffy white clouds drifting slowly. Then, down below, green grass, thick and soft, dotted with tiny flowers of every shade. And in the center, he painted a tree.
Not the twisted dead thing beside him. No, this tree was tall and strong,
with a thick trunk and branches heavy with green leaves, reaching toward that bright sky. While all around him remained cold and gray, his canvas bloomed. It was alive. It was perfect. One night, a young traveler passing through stopped to watch. He had walked for weeks through this colorless land, his heart heavy and empty. He stepped closer, staring at the painting, then at the skeleton. "Why do you do this?" the traveler asked, his voice shaking. "This is not real. Look around you. This world is dead. You are dead. What is the point of painting something that never was and never will be?" The painter did not stop moving his brush. His bones made no sound when he shifted. "Is it not real?" he said softly, his voice like dry leaves rustling. "If I remember it, if I make others see it?"
The traveler frowned.
"It is a lie, a dream. Dreams fade, lies vanish. This grayness, this is truth." The skeleton turned his skull toward the young man. There were no eyes, yet the traveler felt seen right through to his soul. "Truth is not only what you can touch," the painter answered. "Truth is also what you carry inside. Long ago, this land was exactly as I painted. Trees grew tall, rivers ran blue."
People laughed, and then
The great silence came. Everything faded, everything turned gray, but I did not forget. He dipped his brush again, adding a small yellow bird flying near the painted tree. "I paint not to change what is outside," he said. "I paint to keep alive what is inside. If we forget color, we forget life. If we forget life, then we truly die." The traveler stood silent. For the first time in years, he remembered. He remembered running through green fields as a child. He remembered the blue sky above his home. He remembered the smell of rain and the warmth of sun. Tears rolled down his cheeks, clear, bright tears, not gray at all. From that night on, he came back every evening, and he was not alone. Slowly, quietly, more villagers gathered. They stood at a distance, then closer. They watched the skeleton paint color into the gray dark, and little by little, their own eyes began to shine again. They remembered, they dreamed. They spoke of what could be. For years, the painter stood there, night after night, painting the same beautiful scene, keeping the memory alive. Until one night, something changed. It was the brightest full moon anyone had ever seen. The painter was finishing his work, adding the final stroke of green to the leaves of the painted tree. The crowd stood quiet, watching. Then, a voice spoke from the back, old, rough, and angry. "You are a fool." An elder pushed through the crowd. He had lived longer than anyone, and he had always said color was a dangerous lie. He stepped right up to the easel. "You waste your time," he shouted. "You give people false hope. Hope is a poison. It hurts more when it breaks. This world is gray. It is dead. Accept it." And before anyone could stop him, he reached out and ripped the canvas from the easel. He tore it in two. Bright blue and green paint spilled onto the gray ground, soaking into the dust. The beautiful scene was gone, ruined. Silence fell so deep you could hear the wind breathe. The crowd gasped. The traveler stepped forward, ready to fight, but the painter raised a bony hand to stop him. He did not move. He did not speak. He just stood there, looking at the torn pieces, with the colors soaking into the earth. The elder threw the ruined canvas down. "There, now you have nothing. Go back to being dead. Leave us in peace." He turned and walked away. The crowd drifted off, sad, confused, their hearts heavy again. The traveler stayed, staring at the skeleton. "I am sorry," he whispered. "It's all gone now." The painter bent down. He picked up his brush. He dipped it, not into his box of paints, but into the wet paint that had spilled onto the gray ground. He began to paint again. Right there, on the bare earth, he painted slowly. Blue sky, green grass, the tree, right onto the dirt. The traveler watched confused. Why? It will just dry and fade away. But then the impossible happened. Where his brush touched the ground, the gray dust turned soft and dark. From the blue stroke, a tiny stream bubbled up, clear and cool. From the green stroke, blades of grass pushed through, bright and alive. And where he painted the tree, seeds sprouted. It grew fast, shooting up, trunk thickening, branches spreading, leaves bursting open, glowing green in the moonlight. The dead, twisted tree that stood beside it began to change. Its gray bark turned brown and rough, its bare branches filled with leaves. It came alive. The traveler stepped back, trembling. He looked at the painter. "Oh, how?" he stammered. You said you painted only to remember." The skeleton turned to him, and for the first time, the robe slipped back just enough to see not bones, not the skull, but a face. A face old, kind, and full of light. "I did not say I painted only to remember," he said, smiling. "I painted to wake it up." He touched the tree he had just grown. "I am not a skeleton," he said. "I am the guardian of life. Long ago, when the great silence came, I gave up my own flesh and blood to become this form, so I could stay here, wait, and remind people what they had lost. I became dead so that life could one day return." He gestured to the land spreading out around them. Wherever the paint had spilled, color was spreading. Green fields, blue rivers, flowers blooming, trees growing. The grayness was melting away. "The twist is this," he said, his voice strong and warm now. "Color, life, hope. They never left. They were always here. They were just sleeping, waiting for someone to believe in them enough to wake them up." He looked at the traveler and the villagers who had crept back, staring in wonder. "And you," he said to them all, "you saw it. I was the one painting, but I was only holding the brush. You, with your memories, your dreams, your hope, you were the ones who brought it back. By sunrise, the whole land was bright and alive. The sky was blue, the grass was green, the trees stood tall and full. And the painter? He was never seen again. But every year, when the full moon rises, people say you can see a figure in a dark robe walking through the hills, holding a brush, reminding everyone, nothing is truly dead as long as you remember it. Nothing is truly gone as long as you believe in it. And the most powerful magic in the world is the courage to paint hope where everyone else sees only ash.